slammed into me faster and faster, harder and harder, and I curled into a ball, trying to protect my most vulnerable parts. My nose began to bleed, my vision blurred, and all I could see were the feet as they slammed into me. Again. 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 Then my own feet, fighting to get away, threw off the sweat-soaked covers and pulled me from the all-too-familiar nightmare into the real world. Even awake, I kept seeing those feet, moving faster and faster towards me with pain, following swiftly in their wake. Feet are tools and they're weapons. Considered unclean, disgusting, unwelcome. In some Asian cultures, they bound feet. In the Middle East, they hide feet. There, showing the bottom of your foot to someone is like showing them your middle finger here. In our culture, feet get thought about when they smell, or when they look nasty in the summer months. It doesn't start out that way, though. Babies' feet aren't disgusting. As a baby, I was fascinated with my own feet, content to suck on my toes and make cooing noises, both of which were met with cries of, "Oh, and who's a good baby?" My feet were a wonder, a tool that I didn't yet know the full power of until that first day when I stood on my own and realized exactly what they could do. I assumed that I could go anywhere now. But I was wrong. As soon as my feet began to take me places, they were confined to shoes and socks. The places they could go were limited, and I was taught the truth about them. My feet, my foundations, the things that moved me, literally, were no longer seen as cute and beautiful, but dangerous, dirty things that had to be controlled. I tried to go back to sleep, tried to shut my eyes and dream about something else, something that didn't want to break my body and my spirit like those feet did. I started dreaming about James, one of the boys I first fell in love with, and his smile made me relax into deeper sleep and start to forget about the bruises in my mind caused by those stomping, crushing feet. Then I did something stupid, something I'd never done before, even in a dream. I grabbed his hand, and I looked him in the eye, and I told him that I loved him. His smile disappeared, and all of a sudden his feet turned away from me and took him away, because they knew that what would happen if he stayed. The feet would come back and kick him too. Come back they did. Stomp went the feet. Crush went the bones. Went the air as it was forced from my lungs. I learned the rules quickly. Boys' feet can't wear the pretty shoes with the high heels. Boys' feet don't get pretty colors put on them no matter how much you plead. Boys' feet should be dirty and muddy because they're outside, not white and soft because you stay inside all day. Boys' feet should carry them to sports practice with the grunting and the yelling, not the ballet classes with the beautiful movement and the music. Boys' feet belong around other boys' feet, not always surrounded by girls' feet. But the rule that I remember more than any other was that you don't play footsie with another boy under the dinner table. Boys' feet weren't supposed to touch other boys' feet. Boys' feet shouldn't touch each other when you're sitting on the couch watching movies or playing video games. Boys' feet shouldn't touch each other if for some horrible reason you had to share a bed or a tent on a camping trip. Boys' feet touched girls' feet. End of story. The nightmares came and went throughout the years. Anytime my feet broke a rule, they would come back with a vengeance, like when my feet started ballet classes, or spent all their free time hanging out with girls' feet, or stayed indoors instead of being outside playing with other boys and their feet. My feet were disgusting in more ways than one. I hated and I despised them. I was terrified that they would start playing footsie with another boy under the table, or that they would carry me into the embrace of another boy, or pull me too close to another boy on the sofa while we watched a movie. I knew that if any of that happened, the feet in my dreams might just kill me, and I might never wake up. Again. 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 And then I met Casey. I was in college, so desperate for the touch of another man that I was willing to subject myself to the beatings of my nightmares just to see if it was worth it. I met Casey online. We met a few times in public places to get to know each other. He was older and taller than me, and he walked with a confidence that I'd never been able to muster. His feet knew where they were going, and they weren't afraid to go there. After each date, my nightmares were worse than ever before, each time bringing me closer and closer to death before I could wrench myself awake. But I couldn't stay away. Even knowing every time I saw him, I would have to endure a beating in my dreams. Finally, he invited me over to his apartment one night. When we got there, he started to remove my shoes and socks. I almost screamed at him as I asked him what the hell he thought he was doing. He told me that he wanted to see my feet. The terror that washed through my body was indescribable. Feet were dirty, feet were not to be touched, were fondled or loved, feet were dangerous and deadly. After all, they'd carried me to his place. And it would be feet that would finally beat me to death that night in my dreams. He smiled at me and asked me to trust him, and for some unknowable reason I did. My body was tense, my blood pounding in my ears, but I trusted him. He just looked and touched my feet for what seemed like ages. He told me how beautiful they were, how he could tell that I danced just by looking at them. He said that my feet held the record of my life because they were what carried me everywhere I went. I thought he was nuts. I just wanted to get out of there. My feet carried me back home, straight to the medicine cabinet. I knew that tonight I would die because of the feet in my dreams, the stomping, pounding, painful feet. I had broken too many of the rules. Another boy had finally touched my feet. I was terrified, and I didn't want to die that way, broken and bleeding, so I pulled down the bottle of sleeping pills, poured them into my hand, and swallowed them as fast as I could. I would end my own life before those feet would kill me. But even when I tried to control my own death, the feet still came. As I drifted off to finally end the pain of those beatings, the feet descended on me like never before, crushing not just my body, but my spirit and my soul. Even as the pain racked my body, I realized that this final beating was different. Before, the feet had come from nowhere. This time, the feet were attached to a body, that body to a head which had a face. And as I looked upward through the blood that dripped from my eyelashes, I finally saw the face of my lifelong attacker, my own worst enemy. The cry of pain that left my lips when I saw the face was unlike any cry of pain that had ever left my lips before. The face of my attacker was red with blood, dripping from his eyelashes. His body curled into a ball, trying to protect his most vulnerable parts, even as his feet slammed into me. Nothing could have prepared me to look into the face of my attacker and see my own. But with that cry of pain came a surge of energy, of determination that propelled me out of the dream world to that toilet where, choking, gagging, retching, I expelled the sleeping pills from my body before collapsing on the floor, sobbing and gasping for air. Swish went the feet. Brush went the toes. And my breath as I landed a cabriole, spun into a pirouette, and finished with my feet extended in a proud arabesque. Today, my feet are my friends. They're no longer an enemy to be avoided. They're a part of me. My dreams celebrate them instead of fear them, whether they carry me to the end of a perfect ballet combination or down the aisle to marry the man that I love. My feet are my record keepers, my atlas of the places I've been, the people I've met, the stories that I've been a part of. My feet no longer pound my spirit and my soul because, like Casey, I removed the shoes and socks that gave them that power, freeing them to dance through life.